And so basically, we're doing the post-conference coaching. Um, Took about 30 minutes, 20 minutes tops. So, how do you feel like you transitioned to the carpet? That's my question. Because you were they were on the computers, and then they transitioned onto the carpet without interruption. I feel like they did a good job without interruption, from my perspective. What about you?
So I feel like it definitely varies
Mm.
day to day.
Mm.
How much energy they come in, how much stimulation they get during specials.
Okay.
Like on days where it's PE, it's a little easier to make those transitions rather
Right.
like if they're like sitting in a chair in music.
Ah, I see.
So
So basically, they weren't as juiced as they normally were.
Yes.
That's why it
Yeah.
went a lot smoother.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's
So
why you were a little bit like, man, I wish we came on a different day.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
So how long do you want to measure the progress as far as them getting better at transitioning, and the classroom management as far as them staying still as they're listening to you?
Yeah. I mean, like when you put the school year into a perspective as a whole,
Yes.
we really don't even have that much more time. So
Yeah.
whatever you think is feasible and whatever works with your schedule.
Okay.
I feel like, you know what I mean? Like for me, like I'm open. Like
Okay.
I want to learn.
Okay.
And like I think this is valuable for me as much as it is for you. So I
Oh.
think that, you know, as long as you're willing to
Right.
continue on.
Well,
and
I'm
whatever you
definitely
think-
willing.
yeah.
I want to help make improvements. I want to be as much support as possible. I just want to help you feel more comfortable with transitioning and having to just put out, instead of putting out fires, already have things in place, consequences in place. That stuff right there, it will help you.
I had like 2 people in my room.
I
And
know.
we were all putting out fires, and it still wasn't enough, and there was still more. And it's like
Yes.
every time I get one situation at bay, there's a whole other. And now it's like,
You only had 2 when I was watching that you had moved.
yeah,
And then even when they were moved, you still had them facing you and
Yeah.
still doing the hand movements. I did some of the hand movements myself. So yeah,
Yeah,
they were able to.
I try to when I remove them from. I now have a student who has to stay removed from the group.
Mm-hmm.
At most times.
Okay.
The situation that happened, but
Oh wow. Okay.
but
Mhm.
it's honestly it's a different student every day. I mean, I have my 2 that are like my main
Mm-hmm.
jumpers that go everywhere, but every kid has their days, of course,
Right.
and there's never a day where every single kid is doing their like
Right.
one is always gonna be a little off,
Right.
or 2 or 3 or sometimes all
Mhm.
18 of them.
Yeah.
So for me, it's like, yes, I only moved 2 that day, but I've also been trying to like, because when I first started with the classroom, it was, okay, you face the wall, you go back to your seat, you face the wall,
All right.
and then I'd end up with like 6.
Oh wow.
You know, and then it's like, so I've been trying to work on,
Mm-hmm.
like yes, like sometimes you have to move
Mm-hmm.
a couple kids, but I've been trying not to do that
Right.
as a whole class, and then work on like classroom management strategies
Right.
with like the class as a whole,
Yes.
rather than like singling out
So
a few
yeah. So
kids.
yeah.
Because some of the kids need it, but not all of them need it.
Yeah.
Some of them just need redirection.
Right.
It's like, how do I
Because
find
it gets in
that
the way
balance?
of the it does get in the way of the content when you do that, and it does take away if you
Yeah.
continue you have to continuous do it.
Yeah.
You know,
But it's like, how do I
yes.
balance? That's like my
Right.
biggest issue right now is how do I balance redirection
I
with
think
instruction?
that's where it all. I can say this: when you were giving the lesson and giving the instruction, you only had a couple times, but I was like, this is not too bad. It could be worse. You know, it was like I know your goal. Your goal was supposed to be like 70 to 30, and it ended up being 50-50.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, I feel like it went okay. Personally, that's a good starting point. That means you only have 20% more to get them to, involved, because it was 50-50. And it's mainly because you had to talk to those kids. And I was like, and you had to call Mr. Baxter and all of that.
Yeah.
I understand.
Yeah.
It happens,
So, whenever you are available,
Right.
if you could maybe come for
What
how long's
subject?
our planning? Like
I'm planning it like 30, 45, 45
yeah.
minutes.
So if you could come
Okay.
for maybe one of your plannings,
Okay.
and we could do a turn and talk with
Okay.
you there, where
I'll be
we
happy
are,
to do
where
that.
we are meeting our goal
Okay.
of that 70-20. But I
Yeah.
have another mediator.
Yes.
And you can kind of
I can just basically
help
say,
me.
okay, I can do that.
Yeah.
I'll be happy to do that.
that way I can
I'll be happy to do that.
watch
Yes.
you. You know what I
Right.
mean? It'd still be a timer.
Right.
It'll count down from 30 seconds, and that's all they have. It'll be like, what's your favorite flavor of ice cream and why? Like, I start with like simple stuff, and they'll be like, my mom and my butter and my sister, and then they'll start like hitting each other, and then like in 30 seconds,
Yes.
and I'm like, how did we go
To let go of it.
from ice cream to
Right.
you go into the zoo in 30 seconds?
Right.
And they're already spiraling out of control, and then they're turning away from their partner. Some of them are sitting there like not saying
Yes.
a word, and it's like they're already so off task in
Right.
just 30 seconds.
Right.
And then I have to, and then it takes me another minute or two just to reel it back in.
Right.
And it's like at that point, like I spent 2 minutes of redirections, and it was 30 seconds of them talking.
Yes.
So it's like
That does count, but it's just not count to be towards content. It's just, and I did count that, but
Yeah.
it's okay.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? As long as you get it out and you can see where their it's not just misconceptions. It's more like social, emotional issues that are going on, stuff that they're not getting at home.
Yeah.
And I understand why, you would have to stop and have to deal with that. And it's unfortunate that we do have to deal with it, but so I'm going to get back to you. And this time we're going to do tallies for on task talk versus tallies for off task talk. We want to cut down the tallies for off task, and what do you think is a good idea to back off so that they can stay on task? What kind of things do you think we should put in place?
Suggest me whenever you're able to come in, sending you my lesson plan for that week.
Good.
And maybe we could bounce back and forth on what the best things within that plan to turn and talk.
So we can see, and also we can see which specials they're coming from.
Yeah.
That way, if we can see which specials they're coming from, and the high energy ones, we could actually plan better for it to control those classroom managers. All right, I see where you're going with this. So I'm going to look at that, and then I'll come back, and then we'll go ahead and go through with it.
Okay.
And I'm going to knock it off. And this time when we do our observation or conference, coaching conference, I'm going to have it recorded. Because that's what happened last time.
Sounds good.
Thanks again,
Yes,
and
of course.
I'm all taken care of. Thanks so much.
Absolutely.